Yeah, you want to know why I have such a problem with you being longtime family friends with former Chief Baker and his son and family. Well, when you know that you're coming on YouTube and it's not for the side of justice, it's the side of your family friends and what they can hide from the public, and you help push a narrative away from them. Well, this first video, this is before the 2018 Inside KPD in the interview room. This is one of the first children I got home. This is about her case and what makes the context of the 2018 video. I should have dropped this with that one, but we're going to listen to both audios and I'm going to explain a few things as we're listening to this. But let's listen to the first, shall we?
Walking out to Walmart. Hurt like hell. Excuse my language. Trying to behave. But took a walk last night. Kind of went down Sycamore, crossed the graveyard, went out towards Walmart, did what I had to do. But going down Sycamore, cemetery side, cut through the cemetery. But before I did that, passed somebody about 15, 16. I'm not going to give the names. The mom's validating it in the morning. But I passed an individual carrying a pretty full backpack last night. I promised the mom 48 hours earlier she knew who I was speaking up on already. She's been kind of helped me kind of look in some places, keep an ear to the ground. This mom, she can more than willing, if she fact checks what's going on, she sees this video in the morning, I guarantee you she'll probably be on here commenting. I end up asking somebody, what were they wearing last night by chance? Didn't give them a chance to tell me what was being worn. I gave them the backpack coloring signal. Sorry, it's open Wi-Fi, so bear with me. But for this mom could answer me tonight, what was being worn? Backpack was pretty full. Gave the description of the backpack to the mom. Oversized hoodie, wrapped around the face, pulled over. What the girl looked like. I already knew who I was looking for, and needless to say, down to the pants. This mom, before she could ever tell me what was worn, what was found, she's already like, holy crap. And then she's even in Rit tonight told me, I'm almost positive, if I fact checked in the morning, she's gonna tell me she was walking on Sycamore. And I got a feeling, but no sir, I called her mom, got her mom in contact with me via Facebook Messenger. I was in Wi-Fi. I got a feeling they lied to the mom. She was just now being filmed. But even the mom says tonight there's a good chance. I seen somebody. I already knew who I was looking for. Who to keep an eye out for. No sooner I walked past this person, I did one of these numbers. Just about like how you're seeing tonight. Okay, they're back over that way. Not saying this is the exact road. It ain't. But I got that down about right in here, away from, and boom. Got a hold of a mama bear. I feel like for once I did something good. I've pretty much here recently, I've lost about everything, every fiber of my being. 2 children, 4 and 11, meant the world to me. Their mom. Met one individual tonight, he even looked at me. He didn't realize who I was. But yeah, needless to say, I got a feeling I did a pretty good thing last night. And while talking to the mom today, just early, we came to the conclusion it was the exact person not only they were looking for, I would do. Sorry about that. But yeah, needless to say, I think I did a pretty good thing last night. Kept a promise I made to a mom. Even my mom, I'm not gonna lie, told me not to get myself into any more issues. Didn't try on this one. Just so happened I knew this mom beforehand. Made this mom a promise. So I would see somebody, I would say something, especially to her. She's helped me. She's actually been keeping an ear down, listening on the tracks, so if she could hear anything. Well, even she's been hearing a few things I have been hearing here recently and fact checking for me. Well, then I kind of got reassured. I think I had a part success story. And if she fact checks with the daughter in the morning, I got a feeling there's going to be more to the story to come. We got a 30-year-old Kokomo, Indiana resident. If I fact check and I look, there's an active warrant for this individual. An active warrant for this sexual offender. Not one, but two missing individuals. Two underage people. Back to back consecutively were found at his apartment. How is a Andrew Smith, 30, a known sexual offender of Kokomo, Indiana, an active, wanted on no warrant bond, revocation of what? Work release, active warrant on this son of a bitch, excuse my language. How is he still walking? Kokomo, Howard County. Got an individual out there screaming rape. Kind of a little ashamed of Howard County right now. That's all I got to say. You got an individual that is given Miranda rights once in custody. There's legal ramifications if this in custody personnel is not treated properly. Medical care, which was asked for, a rape kit asked for, medical attention asked for and refused, both a rape kit, medical treatment. Something was said, a 30-year-old torking a 15-year-old. Legal age of consent is 16. If that have any merit whatsoever, due process, Miranda rights, somebody in custody asking for medical attention and denied. And ask yourselves, Howard County, Kokomo, Karina McClurkin, the Delphi girls, wanted individual here in Kokomo, wanted for child exploitation the day of the murders. And in Karina's, underage girl, cousin, how these drug dealers, the ones affected with the drug area, hard drugs at that, heroin, meth, shall we go on? How these individuals walk freely like Andrew Smith, huh, Kokomo? I'm calling you out, Chief Baker. If I was such a good snitch, then why aren't they doing something? I'm about to be speaking up on some wicked shit that's going on even right now, last 24 hours. Even from the streets, I'm going to be proving some shit. some shit's going to be looked at. Taken seriously, because you guys are allowing some pretty sick stuff to go on, Kokomo, Howard County. Really ashamed of some of these elected officials. What you are allowing in this community. These individuals you're allowing to walk freely in this community. You should be ashamed of yourselves. To say you uphold oaths, especially the children. How did 2 other children from outside of this community brought here, killed, and then dumped back where they were taken? How is that allowed to happen? Especially when there's a federal witness, an informant speaking up months before. But yeah, you remember Kokomo, Howard County? He was just a liar. He was just making this up. Even though you refused to validate, yet alone look. Why? It's a drug community. Imagine that. Isn't the weed? You know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's a few you fill in your fucking wallets. Some shit's getting forced federal level tonight. Should be acted on before tonight is over. Federal level. Over your heads. Out of your circus court and out of your hands. I gave some information to a very, very close friend of mine. That information was proving federal charges for child exploitation. One way or another, they are coming on, you like it or not. And Mama Bear knows the legal age of consent is 16 in the state of Indiana. Mom does not consent. Sure as hell don't. She's wanting charges. You know what? Where you're refusing medical attention, forcing showers, getting rid of evidence, it's federal charges. I only can say some people screwed up, and I think they screwed up way big this time. This Mama Bear, she ain't happy. She's pressing charges. There ain't getting out of this. Then I'm asking you, Kokomo Police Department, Howard County, how is a known individual wanted on an active warrant? Mind you, I'm going to see if I can pull this up right now. Okay. I'll be damned, double check. It's an active warrant. Andrew Robert Smith wanted revocation of placement of work release. Active warrant to be held on no bond. Kokomo, Indiana. Gives his exact address over on North Street, Towers. Same location. 1 person, 2 people were found in his apartment. Both times, how did he not get ran through the system? And how did a wanted active warrant not be seen? Riddle me that. Riddle me that. Need be, I can go get the warrant number. The fuck, Kokomo? What the hell, Howard County? I'm trying to use my language very wisely, huh? I got a lot to say during confession, but I'm not too happy. While talking to a mom tonight and a grandmother, I'm not too happy with what I'm hearing, Kokomo, Howard County. Commissioner Wyman, Deputy Prosecutor McCann, why? Chief Baker, Galloway. So we continue with these names. Mayor Goodnight. Why is this being allowed in this community? Where these children play? Why is this being allowed? That's all I want to ask. Why? Not once, not twice. How many more times is this going to happen in this community? You're going to play it off just runaways. You're going to play it off as you should not listen. This time you screwed up. This individual, not once but twice, had two individuals at his location. Not once but twice was he having an active warrant on this individual. You see right now, since they're underage, I'm not using the names. So I'm gonna let these families. They can come in, they can chime in. I've got the balls. I've got nothing else to lose. Chief Baker, Howard County, McCann, all you individuals I can name by hand, because they have either been in your office, this informant's been speaking to you, been showing proof to you, and this is what you are allowing even to a witness, victim, and informant. But yet, I get the streets. It's never been about me. It's like families like tonight. That's why I do what I did. I stopped to help who I did. I swore an oath to these people. Just like tonight, I stood, and it made me feel damn proud. Damn proud. I did more than you guys. For once, I'm not nuts. For once, I got reassured by a mom. You don't know how good that feels. When you guys call me a liar, I'm just another mistake. You allow my family to be ripped out from under me, allowing threats to be happening. That's why I'm gone. This is what you allowed. And just like this mom says, she has every right. And oh, I am going to help her like there is no tomorrow. Federally, we will see you in federal court. McCann, Baker, shall I go on the list? We will see you in federal court. Mark my words. Really ashamed of some of these people in Kokomo, and some shit's about to come out. Truth's about to happen, like it or not.
Okay, what we just heard, that was October 4th, 2018. That is 4 days before I decided to go in and pressured by a member of a church to go back in and talk to KPD. Mind you, while I was in the back in the interview room, this same churchgoer was told by a Kokomo Police Department officer that if I was continued to go to a church, this officer would take a loaded firearm, waiting for his chance to take my life. I'm bringing up the 2018 video now, but what I was trying to do is give a little bit more context on what you hear in the 2018 video and what you're not hearing behind the scenes of a underage girl. I stopped, I seen who it was, and I contacted the mother. And KPD, just like in their fashion of covering things up, doing things how they want it, they lied to a mother on when her daughter was found. The daughter eventually said yes. It was less than 24 hours after I passed this guy, and I noticed he was on a cell phone. Yeah, with guess who? Your mother. I actually did a video call where I was behind you and showing the mother the backpack, what you were wearing, oversized hoodie, and all. You were followed to the Kokomo Tower, where Andrew Smith lived. That is how they knew to look at the towers on where to find you. It was the girl that her mother and grandmother showed me even a letter. This is how individuals like Gabe Ellis, Andrew Smith, their friends like Keegan Klein, Tyler French, and others. These individuals, how they get younger and old alike individuals when it comes to females into this little gang of theirs. The initiation is not what you think when it comes to a male getting beat in, blood out. or taking a life, blood in, blood out. But there's other ways. These sick individuals like Andrew Smith, Gabriel Ellis, and others, they see these underage girls and, oh, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that. Well, they pass these girls around like meat from one person to the other. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because when I you're ready to play this, it's going to give you a lot of context on what was missing, what was not being said, and leading up to the 2018, October 8th, 2018, going back in for a second time, the Kokomo Police Department, the same Kokomo Police Department, you got a chief, Robert Baker. If I was such a good snitch, then why isn't the FBI doing anything? So you called somebody that's speaking up for children, where there's children's cases, one after another. You let the predator go loose, no charges, but then you force a rape victim to shower, to clean up, to dispose of evidence before you ever once offered medical aid, never once a rape kit for a underage girl, a mother that was begging for a rape kit and medical care for a daughter, KPD, Howard County, Kinsey, juvenile facility. You all failed this young lady. So yeah, you make me sick, CJ, when you're coming on and you're trying to push a narrative and you're trying to cover up for your longtime family friends' mistakes that allowed multiple children to be affected. And we're going to go into the 2018 video. This is with Miami Post ISP Charles Chuck Benzinger, detective, was in charge of the child sex crimes unit when it comes to online sexual predators. And we are going to be listening to Detective Benzinger with Kokomo Police Department. And keep in mind, if you look up on FBI's, what they search into and what they prosecute, child exploitation, child porn are federal laws. So Benzinger trying to say it's state and local, you're wrong. It's sad that I've done more than KPD on more than one person's case right there in Kokomo. If it wasn't for me attacking this ring, the same ring you're getting your pockets lined with, you're filled your wallets with to look the other direction while these children are being affected. I've gotten more than one kid home in Kokomo. Why? Because I did more than you. I forced something looked into where you guys knew all along what was going on in your community. The same community you swore an oath as an officer. Well, guess what? The 2000, I believe it was 2019 police accountability law. It can still go in effect and it shall go in effect. But we're going to go on to the 2018 video. And this first video is going to give a lot of context on what's missing when it comes to, give me a second, what was not showing up right there on, give me a second, I'm trying to find the other video. But it give a lot more context and hopefully fill in some gaps where a lot of people were asking what's going on, like before that video. You will hear me bring up her first name in this, and this is the individual where I'm bringing up the rape kit. You're refusing to give a rape kit, medical care. And keep in mind, some of these jokes and excuses, some of these missing don't want to be found. Well, it doesn't help when KPD, a lot of these individuals,
Even seriously, he has been here before, and it seems like he's not. I asked him to meet me here, and I would be willing to come down with him and meet with the police officer and go.
and I want you to keep in mind, Robert Baker's the one where everybody's calling me, oh, he's lying, he's making up being an informant. Keep in mind what Robert Baker's about to say. FBI doesn't have a lot to say good about me. It's the other way around. They know about the corruption in Kokomo, and if it wasn't for the agent, his actions towards me, disregarding what I was saying, what I was showing, Delphi, Flora, more than one case is preventable. So this little lie of what Baker's about to say on they don't have anything good to say about me, it might be the agent. I went over his head when I was seeing lives being taken. I was demanding Department of Justice, Homeland Security, somebody to step in, protect these lives where this agent is allowing lives to be taken. I was let go as a FBI informant. Why? Because I chose up to stand up, to voice up against an agent over me. Lies, disregard, and negligence, just like KPD, Chief Baker, what you and your friends, your affiliations are allowing to happen in Kokomo. You fill your wallet and look the other way, I'm seeing children and adults alike being ravished. 9 times out of 10, it's within this troubled community. And many of these cases go cold. Why? If you would act like an IMPD officer, Garland Odell Cooper, admits ties and connections back to this ring down to cases in Indy, if you act, it would uncover so many dark history moments where it's been proven in the past. When it comes to this drug ring, this sex ring, like Judge Fouts, now Attorney Fouts, he is a client of the Kokomo sex ring.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Okay. When are you gonna start that? When are you gonna get it already on? How's your what you said? He's like, the video's not. You said police station, you don't want to stay over at my house. Are you fine with where you're at? Because you're invited. I don't have cases. If you want to. I guess we're talking about everything that's been going on. Okay. Okay. I was introduced to Michael, my dad's property. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, we had many conversations. He's got some either fantastical stories, wild stories, or he's got some information.
Yeah, we talked about 2 hours not too long ago. Yeah. And what do you do?
I work. Okay. Stay in touch with the Delphi Murders. So we've had some pretty
Both persons over at St. Patrick.
Case-to-case talks. And did I tell you now? I said, Michael, you sound conspiracy theory. And then we laughed and we looked up at the moon. Yeah. This is at the Adoration Chapel. Mm-hmm. And then the next week, I'm watching a big film, so I invited him to stay at my house.
Sure. You don't have an active witness for who? It's because I've never called you a snitch. So, but I did ask you on when it came to Page Free and Hurley, the one I was an active informant, active witness for who? Page Free and Hurley, the driver of Karina's case.
Who are you an active informant for?
FBI, Joint Terrorism Task Force.
Well, that's funny because I've called the FBI. They don't have too good of things to say about you, Mike.
Deputy prosecutor.
Keep in mind, this is the same piece of shit lowlife, Robert Baker, that was told by Indiana State Police not to hire a Jeremy Dodd, but it was his corrupt elected official dad that forced him, even after Indiana State Police told Robert Baker not to hire a corrupt officer. Facts. The corruption that even you are part of, Baker, you're the reason so many of these lives of these kids are affected, not me. You're the low-life fat piece of shit that is sitting back on drawing retirement money from the people that you refuse to act and serve, including all these kids.
I've got text, I've got audio,
I understand.
all this proving where I've actually got federal arrests off my intel. I've got hard writ, I can back that up. Deputy prosecutor had said it was a Michael Curtis Joint Terrorism Task Force full service station.
I understand. But the thing is, you're going around.
And the investigative prosecutor is when Baker wanted to try to charge me, thinking, oh, I was full of it when I said I was an informant for the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. Well, when he heard from the investigative prosecutor after they were trying to get me for withholding information for a year, guess what? You dirty little fat ass. Low life. I was. So you're making these little calls? You're a lying, low life piece of shit, Robert Baker. And what you allowed to happen to these kids on your watch as chief of police and what you were allowing and covering up? No. By all means, I'm firing off on all cylinders when it comes to you, Robert Baker. You're the reason multiple kids are sitting 6 feet below ground on what you chose to overlook, bypass, and cover up for Gabe Ellis in this ring. It helps when Paul Wyman and a few others, their real estate are making millions. Mark McCann, your realty purchases, sells of some recent land, and you guys have the audacity to come after me for speaking up to the truth and speaking up for these children. And you're using my mental disability, PTSD, that I sustained when I was a victim myself years ago from an older relative for years. That's where my PTSD comes from. Not in psychosis, by the way. And my mental disability that you have True Crime Night and CJ making a laughing matter of, and that's correct. That should happen. No.
Telling people that you work for the FBI or you work for the Kokomo Police Department, and that's not necessarily.
I never once said I worked for the Kokomo Police Department. They can burn in hell before I ever helped them one day in my life.
True.
But why are you allowing a witness to actually have threats, harassment, coercion down to face Shirley? I do have an active protective order. And what I was getting at is when I actually spoke up on that, when it came to Karina's case, I've got a protective order on page 3 and right now.
Okay, that's between you and her and whatever else. They've got a protective order, and she's bothering you or something like that, then she needs to be arrested. And you need to file with the courts that she's violating that protective order.
I've been trying. I've even been asking you guys for help and assistance to actually do what I need to do and actually speak the truth.
You need to go to the prosecutor. She is bothering you, and you've got a protective order against her.
I tried to look up the audio and video through the court. I even told the court, we're Kokomo Police Department was lying, what's happening. I was getting your excuses. I do have that video where it's right down here in the interview room. I was getting excuses why the protective order took a month. But on a known drug house.
We don't do protective orders. That's a judge.
And I'm now working with ICE and another agency with law Caitlin's case. We're a known sex offender here in town.
Michael, you can work at talking to ICE or calling Ron Baker and saying, hey, and then tell him I work with the chief of police. That's not the truth. So
I never said that.
Like you hear me say, I never said that once. I worked with the chief of police. I worked with KPD, blah, blah, blah. Never once came my mouth. Like I said, that heaping pile of shit, KPD, can be burning to the ground, and I wouldn't piss on it to save it.
You're misconstruing what I'm saying
I
because
understand, but I guarantee you,
there's
that
another
5 minutes after you walk out of here,
special offender.
5 minutes after you walk out of here, after I spent 2 hours with you the other day, you threw me under the bus on that I'm a piece of whatever and everything else. So look, dude, I understand where you're coming from. These guys are good at what they
That's
do.
the first week.
If I wasn't speaking the bus, you heard it from right there, Chief Robert Baker. I threw him and KPD under the bus multiple times. If I wasn't speaking the truth, like Jeremy Patterson's mom, when she's trying to speak up out against you, you used a court order to shut up and silence her. You don't choose to do so with me. Why? Was it what the investigative prosecutor proved? Who I and what I said I was? I was in fact a FBI informant. The night I stopped, helped Karina McClurkin, that turned me into an FBI federal witness. I proved myself and I backed myself up. That's why they chose not to come after me. Knowing if they would come after me, what can be exposed and brought to light would happen.
They're really good at what they do.
If I was killed, you guys don't care.
No, that's not the case. We do care. We don't want anybody killed.
Then I have a question.
Who's gonna kill
Instead
you?
of validating, giving my witness rights, why is that never happening?
Who's gonna kill you?
I've got Ronnie Shue.
Who's Ronnie Shue?
He was with One Nation Motorcycle Club. I just seen him the other night and said, if I ever see this individual that's been shit about me, I'll bash his face in and I'll make sure he's 6 feet up.
Is he talking about you?
Yeah, and I've
You
actually
just
said,
said you just saw him. How can you just see him the other day and he didn't say
I didn't
this?
realize who I was, but I was sitting right next to him. He said, I will bash his face in.
If I say I'm gonna bash your face in, I'm gonna know who you are.
Most
I mean,
likely.
nothing against what's going on, but this is going on for years. I like Michael.
I get it.
If I didn't like him, I wouldn't.
Why am I getting refused to get validated on my witness rights? But at the same time, if I get validated,
I want to know, are you getting validated?
The information he's given you about murders in Delphi, he showed me gay hours and some different things like that. I'm sure you know the name.
If he showed me information that was true, then those people would be under arrest and they'd be in jail, right?
You do know the name.
And no. He's been shown a lot of things that are true and validated and chose, what? Let's get the charges off of Gabe Ellis. Let's not charge Gabe Ellis. They've known years before even Delphi happened what Gabe Ellis and his little ring, like Andrew Smith, Keegan Klein, they've been doing for years to these girls in Kokomo and the surrounding areas. They chose not to act. They chose the corruption, even FBI admitted to seeing going on within Kokomo, Howard County, and the surrounding areas. They seen the corruption. And it's individuals like this fat, low-life piece of shit, Robert Baker, running his gums right now, acting like, oh, he's a big dog in front of this other church member. Knowing he can try to steamroll me, push his weight around, it doesn't work with me. I see a coward in a uniform. A fat, low-life cow in a uniform. When I look at Robert Baker.
Bells, right? Sure, we know all kinds of people's names.
all right, so was he not wanted for child exploitation the day of when the girls happened?
I believe he's probably been arrested for it before, hasn't he?
The child exploitation charges, they're all going right now. He's got meth and meth dealing. That's all it's on him right now.
I don't deal with that. The courts deal with that.
We've got state treatment detective care, and also one of ours.
That'd be okay. How about that? You wanna talk to the
I've been
state?
begging to talk to anybody.
Well, that's what we're fixing. These guys are gonna talk to you. They get what information you wanna provide them with, okay?
Yes, sir.
And then
I believe
we
I'm
got
in
it.
the for a reason.
Tell us, I need to tell you what like you have.
I think the tax.
We'll take care of it.
If you want.
Come on out here. Come on back. These guys are gonna talk to you. What's your name?
Michael.
Michael what?
Phillips.
Michael Phillips.
And I don't know what to say. And if you look up a folk service agent with Joint Terrorism Task Force, Michael Curtis. What I'm gonna get at is with Michael Curtis, who is a folk service agent with the Joint Terrorism Task Force. I was actually an informant under the code name Baffy. If you write this down, like this is gonna be crucial. This is my code name with the FBI.
Code name, I'm not writing it down.
It's my informant name.
I'm not writing it down.
And yeah, some of the next few videos, Bappy tells all. Keep that in mind. That's what I was working under. Not an informant number. We were given names within the FBI. Mine was Baffy. Baffy. When I said I was getting paid by the FBI, I would have to sign along with the agents. I wouldn't sign under my name. I would sign under Baffy. This is where the info was coming from. This is what I was getting paid for. And I would sign it under the name Baffy.
What I was getting at.
There's a reason for that. If that proves to be true, that don't need to be written down on a piece of paper anywhere.
Then there's another thing I've been asked, even the Senate Judicial Committee, to look up is the text between me and Michael Curtis with the Joint Terrorism Task Force as an informant speaking to my handler. I was eventually let go due to Department of Justice push in Karina's case. It was October 10th going into October 11th. I stopped on my way home going from 1004 East Walnut, heading over to 623.5 Woodland Avenue, over by Highland Park where I lived. In between, I took Washington Street. I got past the Little Caesars drive-thru, and that's when I seen Karina McClurkin walking. At first, I rode my bike right by. Didn't think anything of it.
Are you here, or Lydia works up here in front desk, so you had information about murders in Delphi?
Gabriel Sebastian.
And mind you, why I was bringing up Karina's case? 126 days before Delphi. 126 days before Delphi. When Karina McClurkin, her life was taken by a firefighter at Coco Fire Department, station number 4. It's individuals like a firefighter get protected by this state and local while they're trying to set up a single individual in Karina McClurkin's case. You think what's going on with Richard Allen is disgusting, vile? Then you need to look into Flint Barmer's case, and even less they have on him. It's patchwork. They don't have anything on him. And look, just like Richard, he's been sitting behind bars, being railroaded. Look into Flint Farmer on Karina's case when it was a firefighter. Ricky was the name I was given by Marlena that choked and killed her daughter when he paid Gabe Ellis to beat and rape her again.
Is that what you're here for? Or are you here?
I've been begging them
Or are
ever
you
since.
here about Karina McClurkin?
It started with Karina's because when I was speaking up on Karina's, I'm telling you, it's the same group, and I'm about to prove this, where in 4 missing cases, he had a direct hand in. I need you to look up Derek German's ammonia charge. There's going to be 4 months later, you're going to see Derek
not Jared, but Gabriel Sebastian Ellis and Heather Ferris getting busted, same exact location where Derek Sherman got his ammonia charge. That's snitch number one is supposed to have been happening. That's on an assumption why Gabe did what he did. The second name is going to be a Christy Lynn Martin out of LaPorte. It's one of Gabe's dealers. There's an assumption that this is another reason why Gabe turned into his own judge, jury, and executioner when it came to Delphi. I need you guys to look up his mugshot 24 hours after here when he was picked up for the child exploitation here in town. Look on his left side of his face in that mugshot. You're going to see bridge of his nose, left side of his cheek, whole left side of his face swelled up, and it looks like he took a nice little kick. And you're going to notice his hair and his facial completely shaven, fresh. But where it's getting at is Tina Riddell. It is Christy Lynn Martin's sister. She's giving me an address, 915 Buckeye, where there's blood. She swears up and down it was the Delphi girls, where she's even put peroxide, tampered with the evidence. She puts this in writ, and where she's actually saying what happened to them, why it happened was Christy Lynn Martin was the second one that pretty much set Gabe off. Gabriel Sebastian Ellis, which, like I said, he put himself in two already prior to Delphi. Karina McClurkins, and then Sierra Daly, the underage girl he was in possession of 24 hours after Delphi. I've been asking them, and no matter what Baker says, he's looked at me, and if I was such a good FBI snitch, then why aren't they doing something? He kind of leaned back like this. I've been jerked around. I've been trying to get a hold of you guys, anybody, to take me seriously. And so, in fact, I'm proving before Karina, I was over 2.5 years a federal informant. I was doing Antifa, militia, you get the idea. And I can prove this down to if I can get release of those texts between me and that agent, what I'm going to be proving is I was already trying to speak up in Karina's case, the same group. And I'm going to be proving Gabe Ellison, the same group, went on to do Delphi. It was 100% preventable, but I was being negligent, lied to, disregarded. And when almost 8, 9 different times, so almost a year, I was told I was going to get my agent to come up, talk to me, get me on record, get this to the criminal investigation unit with the FBI, get this seen. His lies, his negligence and disregard, it's led me to where I'm at right now. I'm being ridiculed. I'm on the streets. I was harassed. I was threatened. I've been asking them. And if you look up Paige Brand Hurley, I've been asking, why is the witness rights?
Let me ask you, so if I'm understanding you right here, Michael, what you're suggesting is that Gabe Ellis is the one responsible for Karina McClarkin and the 2 girls in Delphi.
And along with his underage girl, out of 4 missing cases, there's 3 deaths.
Okay.
I'm going to bring this up right now. One thing I'm going to say, when it comes to Sierra Daly, her family, on the wrong side of the family, knew Karina was dead. Let her boyfriend know within 48 hours of Karina McClurkin missing. You have Sierra Daly, her sister, letting her boyfriend know off of social media. He comes back into the comment. I can't believe she is dead. I cried when I heard 48 hours missing. They kept the persona that she was just missing. She's not killed. She doesn't. They don't know what happened to her. Going and going while sitting silently. Well, there's a cousin of Kate, Kate and Sierra Daly that came on, and I asked her directly when Gabe Ellis and his ring went and did Delphi, did she go with them? Was she there at the bridge with them when they did Delphi? My response that I got toward it is a straight admission. I don't think she was. So you knew who was involved, who went and did Delphi. The same drill ring is shown all around Flora, Logansport, fires. But yet, let's not look at Dave Ellis and his ring to have
blood running down their hands before Delphi ever happened. And I've got people asking, is he smart? Is he stupid? I've been forced to raise my hand of who and what I was, knowing once it is validated, like the investigative prosecutor did, if I can get that released, the audio and video in his office, it even show you guys why I've been saying I was an FBI informant for a federal witness in a missing and killed case, and I've been speaking up since day one. And this is what led me to why I'm doing the way I am now. Knowing if I get a voice, those files get seen, actions can get paused, lives can be prevented, loss. Multiple agencies failures. That's another reason why you don't see videos inside that courtroom in Delphi. It's a multi-agency failure. Local and surrounding agencies. More than one failure. Certain few locals trying to cover things up, like Nicholas McClellan on Blaine McClellan, 2014 killing for this same ring. They cannot afford the truth to be seen, let alone heard.
So between Karina, the two girls, possible, along with this 15-year-old girlfriend.
I do want you guys to ask. Yes, sir.
And that Gabe is involved with some other people along with that. And you've tried passing this information off to your handler, who is, because you're an informant with the FBI.
He told me not to go local.
He told you not to go local. What was his reason for not wanting you to go local?
If I was to be pegged or getting a misconstruction with local authorities, which after a while he actually told me to go local, they at first thought I was just withholding information for a year. And I've been proving, even to the deputy prosecutor, where when he looked up Mike Fries, it was a Michael Curtis, full service agent with the FBI. Even he started realizing, whoa, because the whole time, and I even proved it to him.
Okay. Well, before you go any further,
yes,
I've had some involvement. I don't have any involvement in the Delphi murders because that's obviously outside my jurisdiction. Karina McClarkin, however, is within my jurisdiction.
But when it comes to Charles Scrub Myers, the Indiana State sitting next to him, his post, and I want you to take in consideration.
They're going to word salad the hell out of me during this interview. And if I left the video going, you're going to hear and see me getting physically attacked by Baker and his officers getting pushed out of KPD at the very end of this. When they figured out I was live, I got a feeling it was that church member knew, if you heard the very beginning of this, he knew I was going to do a live and have that video running. I got a feeling he finally let it slip at the very end. Hey, he's back there with a live feed going on everything being said.
And I have
105 East Harrison.
I have already investigated Gabe Ellis. Okay. And all the information you're telling me, I already know.
So you know that Gabriel Ellis and Gary McClurkin were having conversations, and during one of these jail conversations with a visit by Gary McClurkin and Andrea Joe, one of her best friends, they were trading off their names back and forth on who would sign in and visit Gabe for that day. Why? Is what even they know. Was getting information back to their second son that knew their son from the age of 17. It was the information we were getting back and Gabe on how to save his ass, not just on Karina's case, but the others on what I was exposing and showing, you were getting word back to them each and every single visit. And during one of these visits, Jerry, you actually know for a fact that Paige Hurley was the one that picked her up, and Gabe himself brings up her name that yes, she did bring her out to my trailer. The same trailer that was in front of Paige, not Paige, but Sierra Daly's trailer. That's how he groomed Sierra. He lived right in front of her mom. The trailer right in front. So yeah, Gabe's a good old trailer trash USA, good old meth cook USA, got a Cadillac and some motorcycles in the driveway, good old meth dealer. He's your cream of the crop, chomo, trailer trash USA. I'm surprised he's got teeth. If he didn't have teeth and had them rotten out, he'd fit the good old trailer trash USA to a T. It's exactly who Gabe Ellis is.
Because I'm the one who worked the case on Gabe Ellis. They got him locked up on the child exploitation, which also led to the investigation into Korea. So all that you just told me, I'm already aware of.
It just makes me sick because even as an active informant, why stop to help her that whole time? I've been speaking up. I've been telling the truth. I have not even been allowed my witness rights.
I don't know who wasn't paying attention to you, other than the only reason I can perceive somebody not paying attention to that is maybe because I had already worked this on Gabe Ellis. It's still an open investigation. So I'm not saying that I don't believe you're anything else, because I'm the one who worked at case. I know.
It just makes me sick. The reason I'm on the streets right now, okay, I've got videos for like local and a few others.
Listen, I sympathize with you there, but I've got no control over the FBI or any other branch of the federal government. Now, what I can tell you is that if you've got beef with the way the FBI has handled you as an informant,
I've tried going to the OPR, Office of Public Responsibility,
to go to the Inspector General.
I've been trying to ask somebody, like even a detective like yourself, if I can have somebody at law enforcement push them, like, can you please?
I cannot push them in any way, shape, or form. That's the way I am a police officer and a detective for a city police department. I have no ties to the federal government whatsoever. The way the Constitution is set up, there's a supremacy clause in the Constitution that means the federal government has power over state government. I have absolutely no authority over anybody with the feds. I cannot, I just don't want you to waste your time telling me all this stuff when I can't do anything for you. Okay. And I never like to use that term, and I don't use it loosely when I tell somebody there's nothing I can do for you.
Thoughts. I want you guys to think back at Delphi, how the state and local, when being pressed on getting federal involvement more than what is going on state and locally, I want you to keep in mind, is the FBI here at the crime scene? No? Keep them at bay if you can. Why? And you're going to hear a perfect example. What we're seeing back in Delphi, and when it comes to state and local saying they don't have the authority to press federal involvement on certain cases, is a blatant lie. They have the authority at the state and local level. If they themselves, you're going to hear manpower, payment issues, pay and manpower, both Indiana State Police and a local police department on what allowed 40 child exploitation cases to be sitting cold on desk, among other
issues and choosing what cases to press and where to press and how hard to press and where not to press. But yet you don't have the manpower and the funding. But yet when you are asked to get FBI involvement, no. You heard that from both the Indiana State Police Detective Charles Chuck Myers, sitting right next to Detective Benzinger. But by all means, they want me as this mentally disabled, not all here, just like Tyler Joe French and his email did to me. I've got Joe with True Crime Night and CJ over there making it a laughing matter. Oh, he's mentally disabled. He's mentally ill. Same thing, this drug ring and the individuals that's covering for this drug ring have tried time and time again. And by the way, I just had a new mental eval with my psychiatrist, which I'm only on nerve meds. Got a clean bill of health, and I can get that documentation to show you, hey, I'm not mentally ill by any far means. I'm doing a hell of a lot better now, even with stress and everything on me. It's the only reason I'm taking a nerve med is stress. Nothing other is really bothering me. So being mentally disabled and mentally handicapped and having creators laugh at you for when you've been speaking up from the very get-go before they ever try to become a thing on trying to prevent lives from being taken, it's what's forced me to speak out how I am and the way I am now. I was an informant speaking up, and I was refused to be listened to, taken seriously, documented. It would have saved lives.
Because I don't like using that phrase. I will go out of my way to help anybody, but but I do have to stop you right there because I can't. There's absolutely nothing with the federal government that I can help you with, Michael. Nothing.
And you said you've been working for us. You know there's
all that you're getting ready to tell me, have told me, and would be getting ready to tell me about Gabe, I already know.
The drugs.
You know.
And then that's another thing I need to keep in mind. Like when I talked about Derek German, the ammonia charge, if you look up 4 months afterwards, you're going to find Gabriel Sebastian Ellis and Heather Ferris arrested 2.2 miles over from that bridge, showing he has acquaintance. He's well aware of the area. He's actually got charges in the area.
Already aware of that.
And the thing is that if you actually look up Christy Lynn Martin, you're going to see yet again Gabriel Sebastian Ellis, Derek German, right there on her friends list. And this whole time I've been speaking up, but I've been threatened, harassed, people even showing up my girlfriend's front porch. That's the reason I'm on the streets right now, because it got to the point, and I even got it validated the other night. And Reese kind of laughing at me. What exactly happened was in the middle of the night, I had my hoodie up, the hat was down.
Okay.
I sat right next to Ronnie's shoe, which I put him on blast because the whole fact, you threatened me. This is what's being allowed. Down to what happened to a witness and informant. No matter what, the informant rights are in play when it came to Paige Turley. Those witness and the informant violations, the threats, harassment, stalking, intimidation, when deaths are involved, it's no less than 30 years, correct? If you look that wall up.
That is a fact that you're talking about it being an informant for the FBI. I don't work federal law, I work state law.
But you're not state law.
I'm not saying I disbelieve you. I'm just saying I don't know. Because
and with having an active protective order on a known drug felon, which I'm proving was the driver in Karina's case, and she did sell her truck shortly after Karina's case, bought a light-colored Mustang. But what I'm getting at, in Karina and Paige Turley, I was an active informant the night I stopped and helped Karina. That is proving out to be true. I've been asking to get validated. I don't care if it's polygraph. Instead of calling me a liar, instead of not believing me. For the life of me.
I'm not going to run a polygraph on you because a bunch of gaboos out on the street run their mouth. I'm not going to do that.
But what I'm asking for is to get my witness rights, validate me instead of like Baker and the rest of them call me a liar. If I can prove that I am telling the truth.
I'm not calling you a liar. I'm telling you that that is not what polygraph is for. We are very selective about who gets a polygraph, and on a criminal case, it's.
You did bring up the U.S. Constitution, so when it comes constitutionally, when it comes to even state, what witness, informants, speaking up.
There is absolutely nothing in the United States Constitution that specifies anything about informants. Absolutely zero.
So the 18 code,
That's law. Those are statutes. It's passed by Congress.
and that's state and federal. And I am asking.
Because here the problem you run into with a lot of those laws is the First Amendment does cover free speech, which means people can run their mouth an awful lot before it gets to the point of breaking the law, because everybody's entitled to an opinion. Okay. Now, if you were threatened as an informant for the FBI, you need to take that up with the FBI.
I've tried, it doesn't help when actually.
When it comes to that 18 statute on witness tampering, informant tampering, they can press it at the state level. If it's going on after you became a witness, and for you speaking out as a witness for threats to be coming at you of taking your life, you're the next one to go missing, to go vanishing. If you keep talking, yes, they could do something at the state level. They refuse to. But we're going to get to the end of this.
Happen here.
I can't. With what happened here at this department?
And it's the whole refusal to even act or even help me out.
It's not that I don't want to help you out. I can't help you out because you're dealing with the feds. You need to continue dealing with the feds. Does that make sense?
And that kind of sort of, but it's kind of.
I can't help you because I am a state law enforcement officer. Well, I'm a sworn officer in Indiana, not the FBI.
Well, they act.
If you're telling me that you were acting as an agent for the FBI, then that needs to be who you report to.
And under the state.
And I was acting as an agent for the FBI. No, I was acting as an informant. I love how you word salad things, and they're present and using their little tentacles that go onto YouTube on trying to word salad things that I've been trying to say I was an agent with the FBI, blah blah blah. I've done nothing more from the very get-go of this conversation with this detective, the Indiana State Trooper detective sitting right next to it, is hell, that detective from Indiana State Police was uncomfortable. When I was bringing up Gabe Ellis, his twitching, his constant movement, they knew more when it came to Gabe Keegan. They're friends. Gabe was the older child predator, taught Keegan, one that he sent. Wayne Nelson even admits to Vegas from meth. It wasn't weed.
And if you have a problem with a particular agent that you were working with, then you need to take that up with his supervisor. If you get no satisfaction there, then you're going to have to go to the Inspector General's office. And they cover oversight of the FBI.
And both guys, can I at least get your guys' name, because they just.
Sergeant Richard Benzinger, Detective Chuck Meyer. I'm Kokomo Police, he's Indiana State Police. Okay.
And that's one thing I was asking when it comes to state police wise. Am I correct? If I can prove I've got a protection order as an informant and witness, and I'm not even allowed my witness rights, am I correct when I'm asking for at least the charges of the informant and witness tampering, coercion, threats? If I can prove that with a protective order, am I valid for the request for that charge, very least, to go on the driver? That would start the further investigation. If she gets at least 30 years, you'd think seriously the driver's gonna be like, I'm not gonna talk. When you start adding the time off on at least the driver, you're gonna start unfolding and the dominoes are gonna start hitting. I'm proving enough to get the charges on the driver. I can't even get those right now. I've got an active protective order that's about to end December 18th.
Howard?
Yep.
Okay.
And it's on page 3 and Hurley. She is a known drug felon, and it took Kokomo Police Department, Howard County, a month to get them to serve a known drug felon.
How has she violated the protective order?
It was actually during the month. It was about 2 different times, and I actually came in here and I actually did have one on video where I'm actually sitting here holding my protective order. I was like, it took a month for that protective order to go in play, and she's already violated it.
That's not uncommon.
But it's just kind of concerning, and that's another thing. With the state being here, I'm asking you guys, nothing against Kokomo.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 underage girls that were just found in an underage, sexual offender over the towers. Caitlin, her mom's right now pushing federal charges on one of those individuals because he is a known sexual offender. There was 2 underage girls back to back within 48 hours found at his location. Nothing's really been done. She's having issues even out there at Kinsey. They even asked for a rape kit. Medical attention to be on Caitlin, the second missing girl that was found over at the sexual offenders. I believe it was Austin Robert Smith over at the towers. That is one thing. Even this mom, she's trying to push federally. And I actually told this mom right here on Stickmore, down to the backpack, how full the backpack was, the hoodie she was wearing, the clothes she was wearing. The mom even said, good chance I seen her over there. There's almost 100%, like she's almost 100% positive I did see her daughter. And it was shortly right before she was busted over the towers with that underage, not underage, but it was a sexual offender. He is a registered sex offender here in Kokomo. And we've been kind of fact checking, looking in. I'm almost wanting to say he's got an active warrant. I think if I remember right, it was a revocation of work release. And we're asking 2 underage girls are busting his apartment. He's a known sexual offender, and yet he's still walking. And even that mom, Caitlin's mom, has even been asking here recently, KPD-wise, why is anything getting done? And she's asking for the sexual exploitation charges to be going on that individual. That's kind of what even these families have been dealing with. I've been even having her mom and a few others tell me thank you. And if you guys don't believe me, get a hold of my Patty. I'm in the process of getting legal counsel. And he said, no, sir, I get legal counsel. Mike Patty is talking to my legal counsel. I'm this close to getting federal legal counsel. Mike Patty is releasing information to my legal counsel because he agrees. Where I'm getting at, where I'm pointing, where I'm looking at, not only does Gabe Ellis have family ties, he's got arrest records, not even 2 miles from the bridge. And where I'm getting at on Gabe, he's got the family ties, he's got the sexual exploitation, which is now gone. He's got meth and meth dealing right now. Hold on, 164411 DOC. I've been fact checking with the DOC. We've been looking into this. But when it comes to the Gabe Ellis, there's the drugs affiliation.
You're saying the child exploitation case on Gabe Ellis is gone?
Right now, when you look up the DOC number, docket number 164411, when he is held right now in the DOC custody, you're seeing a methamphetamine and you're seeing a dealing and methamphetamine charge. The rest of the charging, including the gun charge, illegal possession of a firearm by a felon, nowhere to be found. My case docket, anything.
That's because it was part of a plea agreement. And prosecutors and judges and defense attorneys do that. But they will drop it. They will drop one charge in exchange for a guilty plea on the others. That's just what they do. And as far as the other deal where you're talking about an open case with 2 other girls that's been involved with a child sexual predator, it's not that the case isn't getting worked. Yeah, he might still be walking free if he posted bond. That's 6th Amendment to the Constitution. Everybody's entitled to post bond. Let me finish. So yes, he might be walking free. And when he does get convicted, it's not a life sentence. So he might do his time, and then sooner or later, he's going to get out. He's going to be walking the streets. So that's going to happen. As far as anything getting handled too quickly, I'm right there with you. I wish that a lot of these cases could get worked a lot quicker. I've got 20 of them sitting there on my desk. He's got another 20 sitting on his desk, and they're all child exploitation. And we can only work about one at a time. So pardon me for taking that a bit personal when somebody has a bitch because we're not doing something quick enough. There's only 2 of us working them right here in Howard County. We can only do so much in so much time. Now, I'm going to go back to the Gabe Ellis thing. Like I said, everything you've said about Gabe Ellis, I'm already aware of. Already. I'm the one who worked the case on. I know what happened with it.
I have one request for state and local.
No, we're about done here. Because your main gripe is over a violation of a protective order. The order got served, and what you're telling me is that there was some kind of violation of that protective order before she was served with it. Now, once she's served with it, she does something to violate it after she has been served, then we can talk. But until then, she's as far as it taking a month to get her served, don't know what to tell you. Everybody gets those things issued. Well, you're lucky. You're lucky if it got served in a month. Do you realize how many of those orders get issued every day? And it's up to the sheriff's department to go out and serve every one of those people. And not every one of them wants to be found. And we just don't have a magic crystal ball we can look at and say, oh, there they are. It would be, if 20 of them got served in a day, that would take well over 20 sheriff's deputies and a whole lot of hours, and you ain't gonna get 20 of them served in a day.
Michigan just did it, over 183.
Okay, we're talking Kokomo, Howard County. We work the best we can with the resources that we have.
And if you don't have enough resources, you have the authority, especially if you have
I don't have the authority to be able to go, I can't bend over and shit out a person.
You can ask FBI to come in and assist.
I'm not, no. It's not a federal case. We're talking about state cases. Even the murders over in Delphi are a state case. The FBI is just there to assist. Okay, now I told you what you need to do, and I told you all the information that you're telling me, I'm already aware of. Okay, so I told you, I'm telling you what your resources are as to where to solve your problem. And as I tell you this, you deflect and start going off on another tangent, which makes it very hard to follow you when you do that. And then it ends up all looping around back to the same thing. Okay, so we're going to end this with, if you've got a problem with your FBI handler, you need to go to that handler's supervisor. If you don't get satisfaction with the FBI by dealing with your handler's supervisor, then you are going to have to go to the Inspector General's office. Can't help you out any more than that. As far as Karina McClarkin and Delphi murders, everything that you told me about Gabe Ellis, I'm already aware of. Okay?
So I'm not making anything up when it comes to Gabe, am I correct?
I'm not saying you are, I'm not saying you're not. It's open case, I can't discuss it. I can't discuss what I know and what I don't know. I will tell you that I am already aware of everything that you've already told me. Okay?
I got one.
Now, wait. I'm already aware of all that. Okay? And that, yes. Come here.
Okay. Give me a second, get my headbuds on. And yes, you guys' ears did not fool you. And I've shown the conversations I've had with Anna Williams. Getting told to shut the fuck up, nobody's going to believe you. The messages I have not shown you are the messages between me and Mike Patty when it came to Gabe Ellis, Tyler Joe French, Kyle Stacy, that drug ring. Him, his admissions back to that drug ring, Gabe, and the conversations I had with Mike Patty will blow you guys away. So the whole nothing to see here, nothing to look at, nothing to see when it comes to them, but Michael Patty's own admissions when it came to Gabe Ellis, the associations with Derek, Blaine McClellan, Joshua Lank, Del Woods, the conversations I had with Michael Patty will blow you guys away. And you heard that right. If I was able to get legal counsel, some of the information that he was willing to let be known, I've been trying to do since day one. But another thing, like you see Bensinger and KPD, when it comes to finding out that, yes, I was an FBI informant, turned witness in Karina's case, they kept bouncing me, go see federal, go talk to this person. When you go to these individuals, like the Inspector General's office, the getting told, well, there's nothing we can do for you. Oh, go see this person, go here, go here. You're bouncing around from one place to the next, trying to get heard. And it's to get this next case prevented, another life lost back to this ring, these individuals, and you're going from this place to this place and this place to this place, just begging to be heard. It goes back to show you why I've had to say what I've had to say. It's not I'm crazy. They know they can bounce you from here to here and here to here, and so long as you're getting bounced around, not getting on the docket, not getting on the record, and as so long as they keep bouncing you around, the silence of the truth. And to the extent how bad this truth goes down to. So yes, when I have new individuals coming on like CJ, best buddies with the Bakers, the low life, lazy, sorry piece of shit Baker, that him and his department allowed these children to go through hell, and they sit back and refuse to even so much get federal help when you heard it from yourselves. Indiana State Police, and when it comes to locals, manpower and funding are a major issue on why they have to do it one case at a time, one detective at a time on each case. That was 40 exploitation cases, including Liberty German and the Anthony Shots count, was sitting right there, cold on their desk. Further ties back to Gabe Ellis and his ring. Kyle, Keegan, Tyler, and you follow these affiliations back to this day, you're going to start seeing where the conversations that are about to come out between me and Mike Patty, what he was admitting, will blow you away. It's what they've known from the very get-go. Drugs, money, and all they needed was the assumption of somebody who was going to roll to take lives before. But the conversations with Mike Patty, I guarantee, will blow everybody away on what they admit and what they've set silent on. It's not camera friendly. It's not that picture perfect. Let's go on this talk show, talk about this. Cases they want you to think. And what Mike Patty himself admits to in these conversations